On the docket tonight, the Snake King murder trial. Ted Rollins has the story.
Ben Renick was one of the country's preeminent snake breeders.
This girl, very tame.
Renick appeared at reptile shows selling his snakes to enthusiasts all over the country. That ended in June of 2017 when he was found dead at his breeding facility.
I thought he'd been attacked by a snake because his skull was crushed. But he was standing exactly where he always stood, right there in the facility.
Sam Renick is Ben's brother. He got the panicked call that night from Ben's wife, Lynlee.
It wasn't until well after the police arrived and that I was told that he was actually murdered by a gun, by a weapon, and I found that very hard to believe. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Nobody would ever want to hurt Ben.
According to police, Ben was the victim of multiple gunshot wounds, with one being a contact wound to the head. Nothing was stolen, and based on where his body was found, investigators seemed to be convinced of one thing, that the killer was known to Renick. But Ben's murder went unsolved for more than 2 years, until a break. Identified only as BB in the police report, he broke the case wide open with information leading to the arrest of Ben's wife, Lynlee Renick, and her ex-boyfriend, Michael Humphrey. The two are charged with first-degree murder in the death of Ben Renick. According to the probable cause affidavit, BB told police he was having an affair with Lynlee while she was married to Ben. They continued to see each other after Ben died, even fathering a child with her. According to BB, Lynlee told him she feared Ben would divorce her over the money problems with the spa. So, with the help of ex-boyfriend Michael Humphrey, she planned to shoot Ben after a previous poisoning attempt failed to kill him. BB told police that Lynlee and Humphrey went to the snake farm. Lynlee told Ben that Humphrey was an old friend who wanted to see the snakes. After a tour, they returned to the car to retrieve a gun. BB told police Lynlee walked in with the gun and shot Ben multiple times. Lynlee and Humphrey then returned to Lynlee's spa business, where Lynlee took off her clothes and took a shower, giving the clothes to Humphrey to dispose of with the gun and shell casings.
It was a huge relief. We were happy to finally get some answers. However, of course, they were ugly. Hearing that she attempted to poison him, all of that was new news to us. Finding out that she was having an affair was something we were completely taken. We were shocked. We couldn't have imagined that. That's not the Lynlee we knew.
All right, this is a defendant who was able to fool her in-laws, obviously fool her husband, and then charm her ex into allegedly committing this murder with her. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here. I want to bring back in our think tank and ask that question. Molly, do you think this is one of those defendants who believes that maybe I can charm this jury, I can convince them? I was able to convinced my family all along, or my in-laws, that there was nothing wrong, that nothing bad was going on. I was able to hide these affairs that I was involved in. Do you think this is one of those defendants that is going to say, hey, put me on the witness stand because people like me, people believe me?
I mean, there's a chance, Vinny, and one thing that we know when it comes to trials and when it comes to juries, women fare pretty well as defendants, And so I think that whenever you're dealing with a female, especially in these kind of cases, like love triangle cases, I think oftentimes those defendants do think that. I mean, this case is great for so many reasons. I love the snake farm. I love all those little boxes with designer pythons. I love that she allegedly attempted to poison him in a protein shake, but he didn't die the first time. It's going to be a fascinating trial, but I think the issue is not going to be necessarily her and her charm and whether or not she can win over the jury, but this BB. Who is this person and are they credible? And if they're not, that combined with her charm might be enough for her to, walk free.
What do you think? She bats the eyelashes, Carmen, and plays the role of victim of these other men, this evil BB guy and the other guy, her other ex?
There's no question, and I think BB clearly is a lover, and I think we got a couple of them on the front row right now, which is interesting. But I think what Sam says sets up a great defense for her. He's saying this is so out of character. This is not the person that we know. This has never been something that's consistent with her conduct. And I think that's setting her up to point the finger at her ex-boyfriend as the shooter rather than her, no matter what BB says. Unless he was there, he or she, they don't know. So obviously both of these defendants are going to point the finger at one another, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I agree with Molly. I think she's going to fare well since she's a young lady, she's attractive, and again, she's got the whole family confused about what is being alleged here between the poisoning, the cheating, and certainly the murder.
So, Renee, who's a better juror for the defense here? What kind of juror is going to, give her the benefit of the doubt?
Well, I think that you're going to want men on the jury, more men than women, because women, we see each other. We know the games that can be played. And I think that men in this case, especially for the defense, they're going to want the men because she can play into that. She can bat the eyes. And, a man might be more accepting to that than a female juror would.
The other part of this is that everything that we've learned about the victim here, just a very successful, impressive young guy, put together this incredible business, and it seemed he was getting ready to sell that business for a lot of money. I think it was 7 figures it was lined up. And I think all of that's going to come into play here, Molly, when it comes to the motivation here, is that maybe she was afraid that she was going to lose Ben and lose access to all his funds as he bankrolled her failing business. And this poor guy, unsuspecting, absolutely unsuspecting, ends up getting shot and killed.
Yes, that is also certainly going to come into play. But I think, again, that this BB ex-lover guy is the one who brought that to the attention of the authorities as well. He was the one that said, listen, here's her motive. And of course, they were able to corroborate that with the fact that he had this amazing designer Python business that he was about to sell. And motive is really, really important, right? Because look at these photos. Otherwise, they seem like this cute, totally in love couple. So that's going to add confusion too, unless you have that piece of evidence that says, you know what? Pictures are not what they seem, and she actually was about to be dumped, lose out on all this money, and had all the reason in the world to get her other ex-lover, go in there in the snake farm and shoot him.
All right, folks, take a look. This trial's coming up early winter, December 6th. We have a trial date, Missouri versus Lynlee Renick, the Snake King murder trial. We'll keep you up to date to all the developments here. But notice Lynlee Renick is out on bond now. She's in home confinement with a tracking device, but she is not behind bars right now.